There was a question raised by a coach of whether this young man on the right there, should dip the basketball when he catches it. So he's flipping it out in front. There's the dip. But we've also got Stephen Curry, the main part of the screen. Watch what he does. When he catches the ball, he catches it up high in the numbers. And he's even got a defender coming at him. But look what he does. He dips it down right there. And that's pretty close to below waist height. Okay? Green arrow showing where that ball's at. Again, if we back that up, catches it high. So it's clear up around the numbers. He takes time to dip it down to there before he raises back up. Okay? So let's look at the young man on the other side. We back this up again. He catches it here. Now he's dipping maybe a little too low, possibly, but nevertheless, there's a dip. And so is it wrong for him to dip? If the greatest shooters in the world are dipping the basketball, probably not. Okay? Dipping the basketball is part of the mechanics that helps to pull the energy from the lower body. In other words, imagine a high jumper who approaches the high jump bar and just leaves his arms up and doesn't swing them down first and then rapidly back up. Okay? Same thing with dipping the basketball. Does it take a little bit of time? Sure. But does it allow a shooter to really tap into great mechanics and pull energy from the lower body? Especially now, if we continue through with this shot, we see that both shooters have great shoulder pivot motion upward. So in other words, if we draw a line from shoulder to the elbow, there's a pivot motion upward on Curry's shot. Same thing with the young shooter over here. There's going to be a shoulder pivot motion upward, which is going to pull that energy that the lower body, by bending the knees some. It's not even an exaggerated knee bending. You can see Curry doesn't bend his knees hardly at all. It's just enough to create a little wave, a little bit of energy flow, like turning on the water tap. There's going to be a gush of water rushing through the body, up, and that shoulder pivot motion upward, and then the one motion shot. Both these shooters are shooting with one motion. There's no wasted time or energy pulling the ball back. So it's from the hip, straight up, and thrusting to the basket. Okay? Curry brings the ball back just a little bit further, a little bit higher. This younger shooter may bring it back a little further as he gets a little older. But then we can see both shooters finish with beautiful arch and the same exact results. Okay? And that's all about really good mechanics. Okay? Let's back this all the way up. All right? Let's look at the feet. The other thing. And I was guilty of this as a coach because coaches before me taught me this. Feet should be pointed at the basket. Well, let's look at that. Are either one of these shooters' feet really pointed at the basket? Curry's are at about 10:30 right now. The other shooter is about the same, maybe 11 o'clock. But let's watch, and you can see the body is not square to the basket. Curry's at an angle, young shooter's at an angle. But watch what happens in the air. Let's see where their feet land. Now, look at Curry's at about 9 o'clock. If the basket is 12 o'clock, Curry's landing at about 9 o'clock. And granted, he might have got bumped a little bit, but if you watch all of Curry's shots, he lands clear to the left. His feet are pointed well to the left of the target. The young shooter, same thing. There's a twist in the air, an actual twist in the air for both shooters. And this is part of that transfer of energy that occurs. Both shooters' feet are pointed well to the left. Maybe 9 o'clock, 9:30 on both shooters. Okay? So, the old coaching philosophy that feet square to the basket, pointed at the target, shoulder width apart. Neither one of these shooters are shoulder width apart. They start out at waist width at the most. The young shooter, well, both of them land because I think they're trying to keep their balance there. But anyway, a little bit wider. But in the air, feet are very narrow, close together. You can see Curry's are close together right now. The other shooter close together in the air. All right? And both shooters are definitely turning in the air, which is helping to just draw that energy and complete that shot. That's the flow of energy. That's like the end of the energy wave that their body is experiencing because they've got good mechanics getting the shot with a nice arch from long distances, again, with a perfect shot on both. Okay? Backing up once again, many coaches say jump straight up, land in the same place you are jumping from. If you watch every single great shooter that gets paid to shoot the basketball, none of them land in the same place they shoot from. They all land in front. In other words, the feet and the legs sway forward, kick forward in the air. The upper body tends to lean back. And this is also a mechanic that has evolved out of necessity for shooters to be able to shoot quickly and accurately from longer distances. The feet sway forward. Okay? So there you have it. I hope that dispels any myth about dipping the basketball and direction the feet should be pointed and twisting in the air and anything else that seems to be those ongoing arguments that occur on shooting the basketball.